Hello. Welcome to the official first Indie Birth Moon Circle. I was on autopilot there for a second and I almost said, Welcome to Midwife Monday. But the name has changed and the chat is sort of the same. Hopefully, the circle is larger and we can all get to know each other a little bit here. So, welcome on this beautiful Monday. You can't see it from here, but the weather in Kentucky is gorgeous. It's like summer. Roomy is 1 today, and he is channeling all of the best weather. He's channeling our home of Arizona here today by having the sun out and having it feel like summer. It really is so amazing. So feeling very grateful for that today and the fact that he's 1, which I'm sure I'll talk more about. Hello, Alexa and Ren and Elise, I'm sure. Jill, hello. I'm sure we'll have some new people today. Felicia, thank you. Yeah, I can't believe he's 1. I mean, is that not the most cliche thing to say in a sense, right? With your own baby on a first birthday, it just doesn't seem possible that he's been here 12 months and has changed so much and is growing so well. Hi, Inma and Evan and Sam and Laura. It is the most beautiful day for a birthday. So we spent the day at the park pretty much. I cleared the schedule. Usually Monday is a birth-related work day, but I cleared the schedule in advance so that I could just hang out at home all day, really, before and after this lovely event, and we can celebrate him. Hello, Sacha's here, and Amber and Lindsay. Yes, thank you. I so appreciate the birthday wishes. I know most of you, at least the ones I know, many of you, not all of you, many of you are mothers, and you know that the first birthday is super special. And then all of the birthdays are special, I think, more to us, right, than they are to the child themselves. That's how I feel. So Roomy, of course, has no idea, but everyone has been showering him with extra kisses and some gifts and all kinds of things today. And we'll be having our first fire on our land for his birthday tonight. My older sons dug a fire pit yesterday, not necessarily for this birthday, but just because it was a beautiful day and we have been wanting to get that started so that we could utilize it this winter. So the fire pit is ready, and instead of a cake or, other kinds of things, we're going to do a fire, and we are going to celebrate him that way and do some s'mores. So we're super excited about that. Thank you. Yes, the background is improving each time, thanks to Jason, who cares a lot more than I probably do. Although I have been quick to complain about the poor quality of video. It's something that does bug me, but I didn't know what to do about it. I am not technologically savvy like that. So thanks to Jason, things are looking better here. Hopefully they're sounding okay, and we can have a really nice circle virtually this way. Leah, so nice to see you. Brianna, Alexa. Yeah, so let me just give the 30-second explanation for anyone that is new and just to get us all on the same page. Midwife Monday had been this time, this place, this day for the last, I don't know, what was it, 8 months or so, 8 or 9 months. And that felt really aligned at the time because, again, Monday is my birthday. So it felt like, hey, I'll just sneak an hour in between appointments, and I'll share with you what's going on, with the prenatal appointments or clients. And I'm sure I will still do some of that. I think there definitely will be birth talk here. But the longer this has gone on, the more it seems like it's more aligned to share about other stuff. And with the state of the world, so many of us looking for a more genuine connection that is more resonant with our inherent female magic, right? That's who's here. You're all magical. And I think it's important to stoke that fire. Not that birth talk isn't important, but there's plenty of that on our social platform. And indie birth in general, for the last decade, has mainly been about birth. So it feels more in alignment to have restructured this so that women can come that have interest in just being a woman, around the cycles, around the initiations that are bigger than birth. And my hope, of course, is that, well, one, it gives me a lot more free range topics to talk about. It gives you, hopefully, the ability to pose all kinds of questions and topics, which just makes it more fun and interesting. And then, of course, I'm hoping that more women want to come and sit in this virtual circle because it just is more open and not so focused. So that is the change in a nutshell. Moon circle just seems simple enough. Not that we're always going to be talking about moon phases per se, but moon being the feminine. The moon is the feminine. And so much of what I think I share here, what you're sharing here by the chat, is emotional. You know, we're talking about our emotional and spiritual journey as women on this planet right now. So in that spirit, that is what I would love us all to hold space for, even from afar. And if I hadn't been doing this for a while, along with the witchery course, which I've taught a couple of times now through Indie Birth, I would have thought the idea of a virtual circle wouldn't work, right? So much virtuality nowadays. But having been through these bunch of experiences the last couple of months, doing it this way and holding this on Mondays, even though it was called Midwife Monday, I can feel that it really is a thing, that the energy is palpable, I think, from me to you and from you back to me, and that we really can support each other in this space. And I think this is going to lead to even more great things coming from Indie Birth, coming from Margot and myself. A whole new venture has been kind of on our hearts and in our minds for a while. So I think with the new year, we'll be ready to launch some more stuff like this, just around women and our power and the magic that it is to be here right now. So that is what this is all about. So the topics are just so completely open now. So whoever said, you know, I used to feel funny posing questions that weren't related to birth, here you go. This is your chance. And we can all just enjoy seeing what comes up because I have no idea. I would still like to pull a card. I think that's something that has felt really good, Midwife Monday or not. It has felt good to pull a card and just kind of ponder and sit with the meaning, I think, on behalf of all of us. We all have different stuff going on, yet I think we have found by doing this that there is so much we have in common. So I would love to do that today. Mayra, what a lovely surprise. Yes, yes, yes. That's right, Kate. You are about to have a baby. Joe from Winchester, how nice. I would love to see you again. Awesome. So many new faces, I think. Love it. Okay, so business as usual. I, of course, was thinking that this doesn't change a whole lot from my perspective, other than I feel more open to talk about whatever, but it's not like I have a shtick here or, you know, anything new for this moon circle. I'm just simply at the front here, creating the space. I love it, Felicia. And I love you. And I've loved our connection, in the ways that we've had it virtually as well. And I think that goes for a lot of us here. Jill, for one, we've had so much virtual connection that this just feels natural. And of course, I read your email today, Jill, and I am totally holding space and the vision of us all coming together in real life one day, because why not? That would be so amazing. And I think is so possible. But this is what we have for now for a variety of reasons. So let's use this hour to the best of our magical abilities to, hear and see and feel each other in the ways that it's possible to do that. So the deck I'm going to be using today is the Roomy deck by Elena Fairchild. And I'll show you the book. Let's see. I'm always awkward with this camera. There we go. Can you see it? Yeah, the Roomy deck. And this deck is, of course, special to me. If I haven't shared with you, or if you haven't heard, I think I've shared this, but I acquired this deck while Roomy was still inside. And I thought he was a girl. I was wrong, but I knew that this person's name was Roomy Soul. And so when I came across this deck, I bought it, but I did not open it until he was born. I won't lie, this deck is complicated to me. It's complex, it's deep. It's not a tarot deck, so we're just going to have to wing it and put the clues together. And of course, we have the book to consult. This is the least familiar deck that I have, so it always feels a little vulnerable to pull a card and share it from this deck because I'm not really great at reading it. So we're going to have to work together on this one. Okay, let's all just center ourselves since we are in an official circle now. Whatever that means to you, I'm just going to kind of get my feet on the floor here. It's hard when you're short sometimes. Maybe you take a couple of breaths. Maybe you're just getting your tea together. I don't know. Just notice how you're feeling in your body. I feel very excited to be doing this sort of new thing. Not super grounded at the moment. It's been an exciting day here. So finding my center, just long enough to pull us a card, maybe. Okay, Roomy, what have you got for us? Oh, I went to get one and then another one fell out. Don't you love that? These cards really do speak to us. Ooh, don't know what this means, as I shared. The art is really, well, you'll see. It's not like super defined. Blood Angel, number 7. You see it? Kind of looks really cool actually against this background because it's really bright. So Blood Angel. Yes, I do see an angel there. Not sure if that's the moon or the sun. Number 7. There's kind of like, it looks like the moon to me, and it looks like there's kind of like some orbs around the moon. Yeah, Jill, you're always good at this. You should take a stab while I conjure up the book because the book is pretty intense. I'm going to have to summarize or I'll be here a while reading to you from the book. So everybody, just sit with that. Consult your intuition. That's the best way to connect with cards. There definitely is an intensity about this card, is there not? I want to say it feels like heat, as if that's the sun, but I don't know. Yeah, moon blood perhaps. I have been waiting very excitedly for my moon cycle to come back, so maybe there's some message here for me about that. I just said that this morning to Jason, that this is one of the longest postpartums I've had without a cycle. It's not unusual for me. I've gone as long as 18 months postpartum before I actually got pregnant with Rune. And I've gotten my cycle back as early as 5 months. So I really am smack in the middle, but that's something I've been wondering. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. I don't have a better idea than that. Okay, so the number 7, which I forget the numerology meaning. Jill, maybe you know, but 7 is one of the feminine numbers for sure, right? Because it's not equal. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna have to summarize for you all. Stay with me here. The oracle of the blood angel comes to you with a particular message. You are being given the gift of more life. You may experience this as growth, expansion, more energy, more life force, or divine electricity circulating through your system. The blood angel understands that in the gift of greater life, which enables a soul to live more of its essence, becoming a more palpable divine presence upon this earth, there are many unavoidable experiences. One of these is that there will be more sunsets to counter the increase in your sunrises. This is about balance. When opening up to receive more, one needs to empty out what has been to allow for a new influx of energy. It is not about an exchange of equal measure, for you will receive according to the great generosity of life itself, and thus even more shall be offered in compensation for what you are willing to release. Release has been big for me. I shared on a podcast just yesterday. Release must take place. Balance is the natural law. So it goes on to talk about like you are ready for change. You may think you're not ready, but you are. The blood angel tells you to not make yourself too small for what is happening in your soul and life now by holding on to what you know or holding on when it is time to let go. So this oracle comes with a particular blessing of well-being and vitality. Whatever kind of energy is required to expand the blood angel gifts to you. This is the sacred contract of human life. And I have a dog dreaming here. If you can, I don't think you can hear her, but she's so tired and wiped out. She's dreaming in my office. Yeah, this is intense. Like, I wish you all had the book if you wanted it, just so you could take the time to read this, because it's like multi-layered. This isn't like a simple card. It talks about like struggling with energy levels, and as you're going through growth, you're more vulnerable, spiritual protection. Okay, so here is a mantra if you choose to resonate with it. Blood angel of unconditional life and divine love, bless me with the life force I need to attain my divine destiny. I open to your grace with perfect trust and perfect love. So be it. Okay, cool. So last but not least, noticing the breath, imagining or intending that you can sense the blood moving in your veins, like actually feeling your life force. Nice. See, off. The moon circle is off with a bang with the blood angel card. All right. Thank you, deck. Thank you, Roomy. There is, of course, I think a Roomy poem that went with that. It was a little on the longer side, so. Yeah, the release. The release is so prominent right now in every way. Such a good reminder to like actually feel your life force, isn't it? Like not just your breath, but like your actual pulse, your actual beingness, your blood that makes you life here on earth. And yeah, moon blood could certainly be part of this. You know, I think even with complex decks like this, even with that complex assessment by the author, it's totally open. It's totally open to your interpretation. Your interpretation could be so different than that, or just, another piece of the puzzle. Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Hello, Melanie and Valerie, my friend. Yeah, I feel that many of us are resonating with that release. And, I don't want to repeat or recap the podcast from today because I know some of you at least have listened to it, and that would be boring. But there has been a lot of release going on. So I talked about a women's circle in the podcast and how it felt best to release myself from that, even though in my head it felt kind of crazy, because who doesn't like sitting in circle, right? Like, here we are. And I have prayed and I have hoped for real physical, contact with real people here, especially since moving. So it felt crazy in my head, but I couldn't deny the feeling. And so that feels like something to share, that many of you are experiencing perhaps, which is our heads can think one way, but the feeling is it's time to let go. And I woke up in the middle of the night last night. I kept waking up. It was not a great night's sleep. I really do think it was because Roomy was born essentially in the middle of the night. He was born at 3:33 a.m. Arizona time. But it didn't matter. All night I kept waking up, and like in my head, I was back in the birth, like, what was I doing at this time? And I pretty much remember that. So, I was reliving it basically. And I kept trying to get back to sleep. And what kept coming into my consciousness was let go, like let go so you can sleep, like let go of whatever this emotion is, even if it's excitement, even if it is around his birthday. There were lots of other feelings that were coming in because I really do think the body remembers. So even though this isn't about birth, I think there's lots of ways our bodies remember physical experiences we've had, and birth is certainly one of them. So I wasn't surprised to be reliving it in the way I was. And, funny, let go would have been also a great mantra for his birth had I been in a space to tap into that, right? It might have helped. It might have just like allowed more rather than the forcing intense energy that I felt instead. So let go was so appropriate. Hmm. Yeah, I love how the card usually is pretty resonant. And, sometimes it's not. And sometimes it's not for me either. And I really do trust that the card is pulled for someone here, even if it's just one of us, right? So one, all, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, Laura, I love that. Right. Right. And when we release, we do open up space for new things to come in. And so, with my in person women's circle example, that was the knowing that, it's just like math in some ways, like taking something out leaves room for something else to come in. And we don't know what that is, but we're trusting that the release is meant to be. I also had a different but similar experience of release this past weekend with a client I was working with who, is a very nice person, beautiful woman, but there were boundaries crossed, many of them. And I was holding on, for all the reasons that we do, especially when we're working with someone, or, maybe it's a friendship or a relationship, right? And you find yourself hanging on and like waiting. And sometimes waiting is exactly the right thing rather than making really sudden moves or, more Yeah, just like with less maturity, because I was reflecting on the fact that when I was younger, I didn't wait. If something needed to go, even if it was a friendship, I was kind of the person that would just end it. And nowadays, I tend to wait until all of the chips fall, in a sense, or like all of the ducks are in a row, or whatever metaphor you want to use. And I don't know if that's better or worse. It's just different. But the knowing that's there the entire time is probably something I should pay more attention to. So I don't love releasing clients from the relationship that we have, but sometimes it's beyond necessary for my own mental health, my own emotional health. And again, also this self-respect around when we create boundaries in relationships. We usually would love them to be respected just the way we are hopefully respecting the boundaries the other person has set. So that was an odd occurrence this weekend that happened at exactly the same time as this women's circle thing. Really, it was like an hour of just weird things piling in, where the universe was like, nope, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. And it's time to let go. And it's uncomfortable. And you can get in your head and wonder, what will people think? What will they do? What will they say? And you just got to do it. You just got to do it and know it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's a long blab on release. Okay, well, I've blabbed enough about myself and this card. I would love to see what questions or topics you have today. I do see yours, Alexa. Yeah, it was totally freeing. A weight was lifted from my shoulders. So no regrets. No regrets. And maybe this was just to make myself feel better, but whatever. Kind of tallying the things you learned in your head, I find is so helpful. It's so reassuring. It's not a wasted relationship. It's not a wasted opportunity. It wasn't a waste of time. Like with both of those situations, I learned so much, so much that I will bring, into my life. So grateful for that. And it makes the release so much more gratifying in a way, when you can attempt to see where wisdom has snuck in, because that's the universe's point. I don't believe the point is just nothingness. It's not just so, you can even have the experience of release. I think it's a way of pointing out, hey, this could go differently next time, right? And that's great. What are we here for if not to learn? It is, it is. But I think in any relationship and in birth, it's no different, whether you're the doula, the midwife, whatever. You're not saving anyone by staying in a relationship that isn't working. You're not a martyr. You don't need to do it because, oh, this woman has no choices. It's not your business. It doesn't matter. And that's not a lack of compassion for the fact that, yes, that person will probably have to figure something out, but we can't stay in it just because we think they need us. That's not, to me, that's not having integrity, because I wouldn't want someone to do that for me. I think we can each take care of ourselves in that way. The witchery course is really fun, Alexa, and I would love to do it again. I was thinking of doing it in December, so around winter solstice, because I did it at summer solstice and then at the fall equinox. So we'd be due for another round in December. So if people are interested, I will totally run it again, and I would love to have you. And those of you that have done it, and there's a bunch of you here, you're invited back. So we have a circle. That is another great way to get in community and connection with like-minded people. So if people are interested, you should email me and maybe I'll get motivated to do that. That would be fun. Oh, like the follow-up witchery circles, Jill? Tell me what you mean. Okay, so Jasmine has a birth-related question, which is totally fine. If someone also has another topic or suggestion, go ahead and type it there for me. Seems like there's a delay as usual. Yeah, I don't know that. What position was your baby in, Jasmine? So breech, I'm guessing? We could do a follow-up. I feel like you and Valerie, who's here, and me, or maybe just you two, like someone needs to spearhead the coordination and I can then, alert people. So I don't know, one of you, both of you, somebody figure it out because I don't know, it's just a thing on my list that probably will never happen. But it would be great, especially if one of you wanted to host for the former witchery folks. Transverse. So yeah, I wonder, do you have a low-lying placenta? Was there any foreseeable reason? Was the baby scanned at all for anything? With the exception of those things, a low-lying placenta or a baby that might have something going on, it's probably normal for a baby number 6 at 33 weeks. But I've never personally in my own body had a transverse baby. And I don't think I've actually felt one either at that gestation. So I would probably go see a chiropractor, get some body work. Some people love all the spinning baby stuff and those positions to try and help out. I wouldn't be ultra concerned at the moment. No, I would not. Somerset is actually not that far. And I'll be attending a birth in Somerset this month. So it's not very far. And I went down there for the first time last week, and it's a very beautiful drive. I had no idea where I was going, but you'll have to tell me more about Somerset, Felicia, if you know. Right. So again, we'll work out the witchery stuff. But if people are interested in doing the witchery course in December, then you should email me because, yeah, I'll decide, I guess, if it seems like there are enough people to do it again. And of course, I could put the word out and advertise and all that. It's just a matter of spending the time on that. I don't know enough at the moment, Felicia. I've only been there one time. So I could report back after this birth, but it felt pretty relaxed. I think it's pretty rural. There are people I know there that have a farm and raise cattle. And from what I could see, there's a lot of wide open Kentucky spaces, which is pretty common here. But where I am in Berea, we do have like stores and lots of stores actually 15 minutes away. So this isn't as rural as Somerset. Okay, so what shall we talk about in this circle for the last 20 minutes or so? It's so funny how the questions today are about birth, right? And it's totally fine. It's just funny. It's like, call it Moon Circle and people will want to talk about birth. Call it birth and people will want to talk about everything else. No, it's all good. And I'm just so thrilled there are more of us here today. I think it depends what baby you're talking about, honestly, although that might not matter, just depending on your history. What is real labor? Depends who you're going to ask. If you're going to ask a textbook, you're going to get one answer. If you're going to ask I don't know, a woman that's had 12 babies, you're probably going to get another answer. Yeah, that's right. Honesty is there. Hang out with her. I mean, it's hard to check your own cervix, and I'm not advocating that necessarily. It's hard when you have a full-term pregnant belly. And does that mean anything? It might, and it might not, right? So it might be fun, but certainly lots of women, especially if they've had a bunch of babies, might be walking around, 5 centimeters, 6 centimeters. It's possible. And I don't do a lot of those pre-labor checks. So I don't know from checking other people, but I know that it's certainly possible. And even with my own births, I've tried to check my cervix a couple of times. And yeah, it's a learning experience. But other than that, I would say that if the sensations feel like they're changing from hour to hour, it might be the real thing. If you're feeling a ton of pressure and they're changing, bloody show really is a great indicator. Although in Roomy's birth, I had bloody show 24 hours before he was born, hence me thinking he was coming out. So I might not be the best person to ask. And, of course, there's the magic and mystery and unpredictability of birth. And maybe you're someone that is going to wake up and birth baby in an hour, right? So I had a friend this past weekend. I wasn't there, but she had her baby in 2 hours. So I'm looking forward to hearing the story when I go see her this week. But, can't imagine there was too much time to alert anyone if she was just hanging out and 2 hours later, a baby was out of her body. So there is that element. And there are women that have births like that. I don't know that I have felt like I had that sort of birth, even with Cove, who, pretty much fell out. I was very aware I was in the process of labor. So I don't know. Everybody's different. All right. Yeah. Questioning yourself. That's kind of a thing. It's kind of a topic, especially in pregnancy. Okay. I can totally share a recent practice around releasing that has been kicking my ass. So you might go home and do this, or you might never do it because I might make it sound horrible and hard. Right. So much to release. And in my experience lately, yes, I kind of talked about these concrete examples of releasing things outside of myself. But as far as releasing internally, it makes sense to me that you have to conjure it up first. Some people are more connected to what they're feeling inside as emotions. Other people are not. There's no judgment around that. Like, for example, one of my daughters, I won't name who, has a really hard time connecting what she's feeling with words, with emotions. Or maybe it's just verbalizing them because it's very hard for her to do that. So you can see in her face that there's a lot going on. And maybe you'd label it from the outside. Oh, she looks sad, or she looks this or that. She cannot put a word to the feeling. So before we could integrate, and I think releasing is important, but essentially, is it not the integration of whatever that we're after? I don't know. I guess you could argue that. You could argue that sometimes just getting rid of it is enough. Other times it's more that it's been worked in a healthy way, because there are no bad emotions. There really aren't. It's just our stories around them, right? So the release that I've been experiencing has been intense. And let's see, 3 times now I've done it has been in a bath. So this is from my mentor, Donna Maria. I am relaying what she has taught me, which is the reason for things like sweat lodges, which I don't have one here. I've actually never been in a sweat lodge, and that's on purpose because I hate heat. I hate it. I was at Margot's last month, and she has a sauna, and the experience of a sauna to me is horrible. And I know people love them, but this is just not my makeup, right? So my mentor, knowing this about me, and also she didn't even have to know that about me. There is something that has been, I suppose, handed down, right? The nature of a sweat lodge. And another version is this bath. So you draw a bath of the absolute hottest water you can get. And she had me add salt and then also some essential oils. So any of the big green trees, because the big green trees are stable. So when we're looking to release emotion, we are also looking for that stability to ground us. So evergreens, firs, cypress, all of that, cedars. So I think I used cypress, pine, can't remember, but a couple drops of each. And so with this bath being like unbearable and sitting in it was actually the hardest physical thing I've ever done. And that sounds so silly. And the next day, even when I said that out loud, it was like silly, but it wasn't silly when I was sitting in it. It brought up so much. Everything at different stages of the bath. And then I've done 3 of them and probably going to do another one tonight or tomorrow. Is very, very intense. Like the most intense fear, images that come into your mind, actual feeling it in your body, the physical manifestation of fear, of anger. It has been a very intense experience. So don't do it lightly, but don't think you have to over prepare yourself either, because whatever's in there, as my mentor would say, will be cooked out. And she is laughing as she says this, of course. She did not tell me how horrible it would be. But of course, it wasn't only horrible. There was a great release that came and a process that has been whoa, hi, Hannah. Scared me. A process that has been unfolding that my brain does not understand. But I'm going with it because I trust the process and I trust her. And I have already been unearthing. That's the best way, like unearthing really, really dark, deep stuff and bringing it to the light and bringing it to the flame and, trying to live life in between. So that probably is maybe more than you asked for, Jill. But since you're kind of a soul sister, you might appreciate it and try it. So yes, along with like this vision thing and other things, and oh my goodness, my parents came for the weekend. That was a whole other thing, and Roomy's birth and just life. It really has brought up stuff that I have pushed down, and no shame, I don't think, in sharing that, right? Like we can do a lot of work on ourselves and all of that, and that's great, but there's still stuff. There's stuff from being 44 years old and, and pushing it down. That's all I can say. So this will bring it up. This is as close to a sweat lodge as you can get. This is using the element of fire to illuminate and to burn. Just burn it down. So I'd love to hear anybody's experiences if they are going to try this. Of course, if you're pregnant, please do not try this. The water is way too hot for you, and that would be bad. So do not do that. And for the record, not to scare anyone, but the first time I did it, I did nearly pass out. It was so much emotionally, and it was so friggin' hot. And after you get out of the bath, like you wrap yourself in all the warm things and you're sweating like crazy. And so you continue to sweat and you have to rest. So I made the mistake of not doing that as well the first time. And that was hard. So your body will really need to rest. You will need to replenish with salt and, make an electrolyte drink, or at the very least have water. It is a really intense release, super intense. So there's my suggestion via Donna Maria. Can't take credit for it. Yeah, maybe. I don't know what that's like yet, but perhaps it's preparing me for that phase of life too. I don't know. Um, I'll also have the fire tonight that we're making for Roomy. So I don't know. Maybe tonight's not the best night for a bath. It's either going to be tonight or tomorrow. But what I've learned is that, they build on each other in a way. So like the first time I did it, it was god awful. I thought I was going to die. And then the second time, like the next week, it was kind of in balance to that. And I didn't have that experience, almost to the point where I thought, did I not get the water as hot? Like what? But no, I just was at a different phase, less to burn. And then a couple of weeks went by, and then I did another one kind of with a different intention, and all other new emotions came up. So I haven't done the balancing bath. So if I do it tonight, it, like, in theory, shouldn't be as scorching. It shouldn't feel as bad, but I don't know. I don't know what's ever going to come up. Yeah, Laura, maybe we have that in common too. I don't know. I've always hated heat. But the message from Donna Maria was you have to have fire, right? So we're made up of all the elements. And we do usually favor one. I've said that in my witchery class too. When we go through the 4 elements, we all have a favorite. I love earth. I love putting my feet on the earth. I love being on the earth. I love hiking. I feel so grounded. Water is maybe second. Fire and air, no thanks. I could leave any of them if I was just being particular, but it's important to instill that in our bodies as well. So that's, again, one reason that people do sweat lodges, or, all the different versions of that, is to burn. Yeah, to burn is the truth. So if anybody tries it, you can report back. We can have a emotional support group for people that are doing hot baths and having all kinds of stuff come up. So don't be surprised, if stuff comes up. Don't be surprised if your dreams are different. I have slept really well, though, after doing that. There's like an exhaustion that comes with it. So anyway. I have not done the cold shower thing. So yes, that's a whole other idea. It's the extremes, right? And then in that case, it's using water, which of course the bath is also using water. Yeah, I have not done that. Let me just catch up here for a moment. Yeah, Laura, I guess we won't be visiting any saunas together. But I would love to develop that acclimation. And I think this might help. I think it might, because there is a reason that I'm resisting it. When I was at Margot's in the sauna, she loves it. She has a beautiful sauna at her house that most people would like die to have and probably use all the time. And the couple times I was there, oh my gosh, I couldn't wait. I just felt like I was going to explode. Explode. Wow, yeah. There's so many good topics. See, I think we are going to find our flow here, and I will too. So I'm not meaning to like not address all the comments for today. There's just obviously going to be a time limit, because I really do like to be prompt with these sorts of things so that people stay present, that I stay present as much as I can. So we're going to keep it to an hour, but we have plenty of time. We We have every Monday to hang out here and talk about all the things, the family dynamics and all of the other kinds of experiences. And then, yeah, we also have the witchery class for anybody that wants to do that. That sounds amazing, everyone. That's responding. Jill's snow meditation. Yeah, the bath, only because I can't speak to the snow experience. The bath did mimic labor in a sense, but it was worse. It was worse because in a birth process, you have the intensity and then you get a break. And this bath was just like, not stopping. So anybody that's been through birth, I'm sure you'll draw the comparisons and see what you think. And if you haven't, then I was thinking, Laura, not of you, but like of women that haven't birthed yet, that if they got their bodies like ready in that way, I wonder if birth would just feel like a breeze. Seriously. Yeah, I guess just Felicia's question is the simplest maybe to address in the next couple of minutes. But just this idea of being at peace, not doing a lot. And I guess this could go for life or pregnancy, but you're talking about pregnancy. And this outside thought form of recklessness. So I honor you for acknowledging that. I'm certainly not making fun of that at all. Just acknowledging that, one is an internal process, sounds like to you, to me, from here. And then there's the external. So you can feel it when it's there, which is what you're saying. Acknowledging that, naming it as you're doing, like, that is that thing. People might think I am reckless, and our own minds turn to that. It doesn't even have to be other people. It's like, what if something went horribly wrong and I was labeled as this reckless woman and, something happened to my baby. So I think those are all really normal, natural thoughts. And my humble advice, since you're asking, would be to just strengthen what you are feeling inside that is true, and doing what you're doing, naming it. It's outside of you. Do you identify with that? Is that your energy out there, that reckless cloud? Is that something you want to identify with? Do you resonate with that vibration? And just be simple. Ask yourself those questions and go where you feel aligned, because there will always be the opposing opinion, right? Like the world right now is the best example. So no matter what you do, no matter what side you choose right now, and it seems like there are sides, the other side will call you stupid, right? And, we're all doing it in our own ways too. We just can't understand. But we each need to choose what's resonant inside. And honest to goodness, at the end of the day, that's all we can hope. And it might change the world, but it might also create what we need. Yeah, I could do a sauna if I had like something ice cold. And in fact, at Margot's, I kept getting out to get in a cold shower. And then I got back in and I was fine for like 5 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Evan, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, maybe, but a birthy labor exercise, right, is to hold an ice cube and to kind of deal with that. So I didn't have that same experience in the hot bath. Like I know what that feels like with the ice cube. And again, I think it's just like our differences in makeup, but kind of like spacing out and being able to go somewhere else. But with the bath, I wasn't able to do that. It was like, it was right here. And like the emotion was literally brewing up from the cauldron. So I wasn't able to like dissociate and just like meditate my way out of it. So it's good. It's good. Yes. Agreed with what Laura is saying as usual. Yeah, and I think that's a great way to end, right? May we each be at peace with who we are, what we're here to give and receive, and acknowledge when something comes into our vibration that is not in alignment. So, I'm right back at the beginning. I won't repeat all the women's circle stuff and all of that, but essentially, that's the choice. When something comes in that is not of the same vibration, and you don't have to judge the vibration, it's just not the same. Do you want it? So, do you want to attune yourself to something else? All right, we're going to end right on 4 o'clock here in Eastern time. It was so great hanging out with all of you for this inaugural moon circle. I hope you enjoyed it. I am so glad you came and hung out with me. And I would love to see you again and again as we continue to do this and, see where this energy goes. Maybe there's something entirely new in store here as we come together and the needs change and things present themselves. So I am totally open to that. I am just excited and curious to see where this goes. And I'd love if you would share it too. Anybody could be here, any woman, I think, that resonates with any of this. So if they're new to indie birth, great. If they don't care about birth, pretty much great. I mean, they might be bored by some of the birth talk, but I think it's all good. All right, everybody, I'm going to get home and snuggle my little birthday boy again, and I'll see you next week. Lots of love.